If you're clicking on this video, that means that you are just going to listen along as I read Lazy Harry by the Brothers Grimm. So what you're going to be doing is listening to me reading, and you may follow along. As you're following along, you should be underlining, circling, annotating, writing notes in the margin. So go grab a pen or a pencil, maybe a highlighter, and we're going to get started. We're going to read the story. Here we go. Lazy Harry by the Brothers Grimm. Long ago, there lived a boy named Harry. This boy was lazy and disliked working, though all he did for work was to look after his goat. Harry still found this simple task to be exhausting. Each day, Harry drove his goat to pasture. Then he watched the goat. It truly was not hard work, but Harry groaned and complained all day. He groaned and complained the whole way home, too. Page 13. It is indeed a heavy burden, he said, and a wearisome employment to drive a goat into the field this way year after year. I have to work until late autumn, watching that sad old goat all day long. Harry continued to complain so much that it seemed he complained more than he worked. If one could only lie down and sleep. But no, one must keep one's eyes open, or the goat might hurt the young trees, or it might squeeze itself through the hedge into a garden, or even worse, it might run away. I have no rest or peace. I must always watch the goat. Harry sighed. He had to solve his problem. Okay, we're on page 14. One day, Harry sat down to think about his dilemma. There must be a way to free himself from work. For a long time, all that thinking led to nothing. Suddenly, a good idea, clear as day, came upon him. It was as if a fog had lifted right before his eyes. He knew how to solve the problem. He would marry his neighbor, Trina, who also had a goat. She could take her goat with Harry's, and then Harry would not have to work. Harry would lead an untroubled life. He could rest and play. Yes, all play would make Harry a merry boy. It was a perfect solution. So Harry got up, set his weary legs in motion, and went right across the way to Trina's house. He asked Trina's parents to grant him the honor of asking their daughter to join him in marriage. The parents did not reflect long. Birds of a feather flocked together, they thought, and consented. That means they said yes. On page 15, Trina became Harry's wife. She led out both the goats. Harry had a good time of it and no work. He only went out with Trina now and then and said, I merely do it so that I may afterward enjoy rest more. Otherwise, one loses all feeling of it. But wouldn't you know it? Trina was lazy too. She did not like to watch the goats any more than Harry did. Discontented, she set her mind to thinking of a way to avoid work. All right, we're on page 16. Finally, an idea came to her. Dear Harry, she said, why should we work so hard when there is no need for it? We are wasting our youth. We should trade our 2 goats, whose bleating wakes us up too early, to our neighbor. He will give us a beehive. We will put the beehive in a sunny place behind the house, and we will not have to do any work. Bees do not require work. They do all the work themselves. They do not need to be driven into the field like the goats. Bees fly out and fly their own way home. We can collect honey while barely lifting a finger. You have spoken like a sensible woman, Harry replied. We will carry out your proposal without delay. Besides, honey tastes better and nourishes one better than goat's milk. It can be kept longer, too. The neighbor willingly gave a beehive for 2 strong goats. That's a good deal for me, he thought. Harry and Trina were happy with the trade, too. The bees flew in and out from early morning till late evening without ever tiring. They filled the hive with delicious golden honey. That autumn, Harry filled a jar with honey. The couple placed the jar on a board fixed on the wall of their bedroom, but as they were afraid that it might be stolen from them or that mice might find it, Trina brought in a stout hazel stick. She put the stick beside her bed so she could easily reach for it without getting up if she needed to drive away an unwanted guest. Page 18. Lazy Harry could not leave his bed before noon. He who rises early said he, waste his substance. One afternoon, when Harry was still lying amongst the feathers in the broad daylight, he said to his wife, "Women are fond of sweet things. You are always tasting the honey. It will be better for us to exchange it for a goose with a young gooseling, before you gobble it up. After all, waste not, want not." "But," answered Trina, "not before we have a child to take care of them. I am not going to work hard watching the goose and the gooseling." Trina shook the stick and swung it wildly as she spoke. Her movements were so spirited that she accidentally hit the honey jar. The jar hit the wall, broke into pieces, and the delicious honey poured out onto the floor. "Aye, there lie the goose and the young gooseling," said Harry. They will want no looking after now." And then, as he saw that there was still some honey in one of the fragments, Harry reached for it. Most, but not all, was lost. And that's the end of the story. So that is the story, Lazy Harry. Now what you need to do is go write a summary about the events that happened on your homeschool log. Go! Thanks for listening. Bye!